Des here from Aro-Tarot, and I got a package in the mail. So I decided to be patient, even though I wanted to open it right away, and I'm gonna open it like right on camera. So yeah, I'm gonna open the package, and what it is it's the new tarot deck that I ordered because I was like, Des, you shouldn't get another deck and spend like all your money that you have, which isn't much, on another deck. And it's like, but Des, Black Friday sales, like I can get another deck for like $15, and it's like, Des, that's very convincing. And I'm like, I know, that's why I already ordered it. But yeah, I get decks usually if they're mass produced. I usually get them on either Barnes and Nobles or I get them on Amazon. And Amazon, I mean, they always have stuff marked down, but it's like there wasn't like sales or anything that I could deal with. But Barnes and Nobles, they had 20% off on your whole order, and I was broke, so I can only get one thing. But most of their stuff's usually already priced down anyway, so this deck was already priced down, and then it was like another like 20, or was it 25? It was 20 or 25% off more, and I was like, yes, yes, spending $15 on a deck, you know, so, yeah, so I got it here, and I'll show you what it is once I open it. So, I'm opening it. They put it in a really big box, like, this is bigger than my head, and I know the deck's not that big. I literally feel like I'd almost bet someone $5 that maybe it's only in this big of a box because of the ads, because Barnes & Nobles likes to send a bunch of ads and stuff in their boxes. Barnes & Nobles, what you doing? It's just gonna get thrown away, you know, so I don't need that stuff. Oh, no, it's filled with those air plastic thingies. I don't know what they're called. To make sure stuff doesn't get beat up. Also, there's still ads, though. The, recycled stuff for packaging. A bunch of ads. Oh, that's what I ordered. I ordered ads, actually. The receipt thingy. Yeah, oh, it wasn't $15. I got it for $14.08. And yes, then the deck in this box. Wouldn't be the first time. I think it was with the Hobbit Tarot. I got a box that was like, I don't think it was this high. It might have been a bit lower, and it might have been, I think it was a bit smaller than this one, but like, yeah, the Hobbit Tarot was like this big, and I even posted it on my Tumblr, and I was like, don't you have a smaller box? I swear, I could have seen that they've sent me smaller boxes, but like, whatever. So the deck that I ordered, I had never heard of. I was like, just scrolling through. I was thinking about getting the Santa Muerte, I don't know, I can say stuff. Santa Muerte? I didn't take Spanish class. I took German, so sorry if I butchered that already. You know, I'm more used to freaking Ekliptik and I don't even know, Eklibe Opskuken. That's one I still remember that one because I used to say it all the time. I specifically looked it up, and then I was like, Opskuken, that's how you say it? And then I asked Frau, and I'm like, you say it Opskuken? And she's like, I guess you would basically say it as fruitcake because they don't have a word for pie. And I'm like, they don't have a word for pie? What's wrong with them? Yes, I love pie. But anyway, I was just scrolling through, and I came across one that I'd never seen before. I tried looking up reviews of it on YouTube, and I couldn't find any. I barely saw any pictures of it on Google, and the most cards I was able to actually see was actually on the artist's Facebook page. There was a couple pictures, so I got to see what the box looked like, how big the book was, and some of the cards. And so, yeah, this is basically first impressions too, because I've only seen, like, in the small picture, maybe like 11 of the cards or something, so, yeah. Yeah, it's Guardian Tarot by Beth Seilonen. I should have Google translated this. Seilonen. You know, I'm just gonna put it down below. I'm really bad at pronouncing stuff. It's a gift. It's I saw that it was published by Shiver. I've never gotten one of those. And of course it's got the red feather on here. But I've heard some stuff about Shiver. Like, some people are like, I think it's their cardstock is what it is. People don't like their cardstock. I think it's the gloss or something. I don't remember. People say it all the time. I can't think of it right now. But I was like, this deck, I'm getting it. Like, I was so set on the other deck, and I'm like, no, I'm getting this one. Ooh. The box is like, it feels nice. It's a good box. It's sturdy. And it's magnetic box. And it's not just magnetic, it's got a little ribbon that you can pull up. I like this box. And when you open it up, you've got information about the creator. And here's, I don't know why, but I think this is so cute for some reason. Here's the book that comes with it. Ooh, it's all in color. So it's all in color. It looks like all the majors get a card. You get in green. So like a little bit of information about that particular guardian. And then basically like the meaning of the card. And then you get reversal, which is about the same amount as what the card means. I love that I love how, like, it's not just in color like the cards, but like this is in color. And like that's in color. That's so cute. So the minors, they don't get a full page, but it's about the same amount of information as, oh, the majors don't all get like a full page. There's a lot of information on the Chariot. It just almost looked like that, but they pretty much get them out about like that much, it seems, at least for each card, including the minors. Oh, here's the spreads. How many spreads? I like the spreads. So we got Guardian's Tale, which is a 10-card spread. We've got Guiding Coast to Coast, which is a 6-card spread. Yep. So those ones. Oh, there's a cute, I don't know why, I do like it when you've got the cute little things before it. It says, I awoke from a long slumber and found myself spinning across the ballroom floor, and a thank you. And this deck, by the way, it looked like it got released in September, so it's a deck that came out this year. Oh, and it's got the contents literally listed, every single card. You could see every single card and what page they're on. Dang. The acknowledgements, you got the intro. The intro is like only 2 pages. And how many pages are in total? The whole book is about 103 pages, which it's pretty much... The intro starts on page 7. So yeah. That would be like, what, like 96 pages? You know, not counting the acknowledgements or contents or the little thank you or anything in the front. So, yeah. I
realized I didn't even say anything that was even in the intro. And I started reading it. I'm like, why didn't I include this? So I'm cutting in my video real quick just to include the intro because you'll see. So it's not that long, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna read all of it. So the introduction. The Guardian Tarot originated from an experience in 2004 with my then 4-year-old son. As we were walking home from our daily stroll along a railroad track, he glanced over to see a tree standing in a small field. The stark leafless limbs reached upward, skeletal in appearance, while the trees that lined the edges were full of leaves. Noting the drastic difference between the trees, he asked what had happened to the tree. I gave him some scenarios as to why the tree might not have made it from the past year. One explanation happened to be on pollution, which led us to discussing where pollution came from, who created it, and so on. Later that night, I pondered our conversation as I watched the full moon rising above the field. The moonlight illuminated the drastic contrast of the living and dead. I was struck by how the branches looked like arms and hands reaching for something just beyond their gnarled fingertips, while the living trees with their leaves shimmered under the moon reflected little points of silver light, whispering softly as the wind danced around them. In that moment, the correlation of how humans exist within the current times became very clear. As we pull our nourishment from a depleted source, we too also become depleted. We wither under the effects, becoming less functional and unable to connect to our personal happiness and rejuvenation. While when we find ourselves in a nourishing environment where our needs are met and supported by those around us, we grow stronger. By bringing the two entities together, trees and humans, the Guardian Tarot works to unity and foster awareness to the importance between nature and ourselves, promoting our own personal growth and journey. As the cards are laid out, there are 2 points of view that will affect each reading: the upright position and the reverse, or upside down. The definitions for the upright and reverse are offered in each interpretation. So that's the whole introduction. So, like, I thought I'd go ahead and read that because it's like, yeah, it's true. So, yeah. So I'm gonna cut right back into whatever I was talking about. So, yeah. It's a cute book. I like that. So cute. And so now we got the cards. And they're... Holy... I wasn't expecting the deck to be this thick. Me questioning if I'm going to be able to shuffle this. and it comes together with this thing. But then I turn it... And I'm like, that's a mighty thick deck. I wasn't expecting it to be a thick. I didn't know, like, like, all the pictures I saw was, I kind of saw it next to the book, and I kind of saw the book in the box. So I figured the box was probably about the size of whatever cards they were, but I couldn't actually see how big the cards were because, like, yeah, lack of pictures. So it's being bound together with this. Got it. Ooh, I like the backs. These are the backs. Yeah, these are freaking thick. I think this is like, I compare this to closer to like one of my Oracle cards thick. Or, oh, I'm gonna see. Is this, I think this is actually thicker than my thickest deck I have. Let me see. I'd say yes. Like, flexibility-wise, sometimes it's so hard to tell if they're flexible. Because then you start flexing it, and then you're like, did I just make it a little bit more flexible by trying to flex it? So it's about, like, this flexible. Where, like, my thickest one so far is, like... So, I'd say it's probably actually close to the same. Well, this is a lot actually like thicker height-wise. My thickest deck's only like, you know, like compare. You can't see it because of the black. So my thickest deck before this one, side by side, you can see it like. So it's bit thicker, but it's almost the same as my thickest deck so far, so now I'm not as worried about shuffling it. Because my thickest one I have is the Justice League Tarot. And that was my first deck, so I had to get used to it. And I'm used to shuffling that one. I actually have a lot... I don't have a hard time shuffling this one. I have a hard time shuffling some of my other ones. And it's going to take me a sec to get that in the bag, so I'm just going to hold them. So yeah, yeah, the bags are so pretty, though. So it's really thick. And they're so cute. Like, all the images are, like, watercolor. So, I guess I'll try shuffling it afterwards, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go through all of the cards. So it's an unboxing and a walkthrough. So, yeah, so we're starting off, and got the Fool, which this one I did see online. I could just make it out in the distance in that, one video. It's very pretty. It's very, it feels very free, you know? So it's a good Fool. The Magician, I was able to see this one in the photo too, but like, the expression on the Magician's face, like literally like, me. And it's got she's got like an Ouija board. I love that expression though. I also like that leaf that's kind of hanging down. It's very pretty. So then we got the High Priestess. She's also really pretty. This one it's like, because their arms are like branches, and like the arms, if you look, because this one's a little bit more noticeable, I think, than this one. Because this one, if you actually look down, this is again the hands. So like the hands are like people, which is really interesting. Ooh, I'm gonna have to read that. I'm gonna have to read that like later. I know after I shuffle them, I'll draw a card and then I'll read the book. So, yeah. So next, we saw this one, and this one was, I think, the first one that I saw out of the few that I was able to see. And I saw it, and I'm like, that's creepy looking, I want it. But yeah, the Empress. And I thought it was creepy just because, like, I don't know why. Because the way that their eyes, they're not really eyes, they're kind of more like sock. I keep looking in, like, the, this to make sure that it's all in frame. But yeah, like their eyes are almost like, more like sockets. You've got, like, the kid, and then you've got, like, you know, just at the angle. I thought it was creepy when I saw it, but I loved it. So yeah, it feels very, you know, motherly and then nature-y, so. Next we got, ooh, I like the Emperor. That's really pretty. I'm gonna have to read that one too, because I'm like, I get like the like a interesting Emperor feeling from it, but I'm like, I gotta, like, there's like a face here, and then like there's the tree, but it's kind of like being pushed back, and then the waves are kind of, you know, hitting the cliff, and then the Emperor's like looking down, and I'm like, what's going on here? I gotta read that one. The Hierophant I kind of was able to see in the image, if I remember correctly, and that one kind of actually makes me think of the High Priestess, but instead of like on the hands, it's like within more of the stomach area. So it's interesting. Of course, the Lovers. It's very, very simple. It doesn't bother me as much because usually I don't like the when it's, because I read it more partnership and choice, and this one kind of gives me more of a lovey vibe, but it doesn't bother me as much because first off, look at their arms, like, that's cool, and then second off, you know, they're essentially tree people, so it doesn't bother me as much. Ooh, here's the Chariot, which I saw there was a bunch of info about this one. So there's no horse actual chariot. Got trees in the background. He's holding a sword with his branch hands. There's some symbols all over him. That's probably why there's so much info on the thing. And determined. And actually not having the Chariot in a deck doesn't bother me. I mean, my first deck, my favorite one, which, again, is one of my favorite 3 Chariots. Is it my favorite? I can't remember if that one was my favorite or not. But in the Justice League Tarot, literally, it's just Green Lantern. So, Hal Jordan. And is he in a vehicle? No, he's just flying. But it just makes perfect sense for the Chariot, so. Yeah. Shut up about your favorite deck, Des. You got a new one. So this one's really pretty. I feel like the book doesn't have, like, a ton of information about each one. Not, like, as much as, like, some of the, like, the Llewellyn ones I got. Like, the book size-wise, isn't it about the same? About the same thickness. It's just a little bit longer than, I can't talk today. Prisma Visions, which I actually have out because I was using it, Strength. This one's really interesting. And I usually really like the Strength card. Like, well, I like the Strength card, not always the imagery. Like with all, but the Hermit's kind of, the Hermit, like, you've got the guy in the background, which kind of has the whole getting away, especially, like, the color kind of makes me think of how he's usually cloaked. And then you got the figure in the front here, and then, you know, the eagles being able to see out. I'm curious about this figure. Next you got the Wheel of Fortune. Ooh. So it's almost like this one's able to see in, because this one kind of makes me think of, like with Greek mythology, and you've got the fates, and, you know, you've got the strings, and that's kind of what this is making me think of, because if you look, you've got all the different stages of life, and then someone basically kind of is able to look in this. So it's kind of like what it's making me think of. I don't really know if, like, that's what it's going for, but because it almost looks string-like, that's what it's making me think of. Justice, really simple. I like the face. It's like, it makes me think of like a porcelain doll, how this particular face came out. I like the colors. I like the colors. Or more so, lack of colors. Ooh, what? Oh, what comes after Justice? What comes after Justice? Sometimes I know it, sometimes I don't. Crap, what does come after Justice? I literally can't even think of it now. Oh, the Hangman. Duh. You would think I would be able to have it right in my mind because I've been playing a solitaire game with tarot recently, but no. And I have to look at the numbers with it, but no. So instead of the Hangman, it's called Suspend. It's very pretty. So like instead, I guess it's almost like how the leaves are kind of like stuck on and then they're falling down. Because it doesn't really look like the Guardian themselves is being suspended. It's more like the leaves are just being held on. I did see this one, although it's even prettier in life. The Death card. This one I'm kind of curious about too. I kind of like it. It's like kind of creepy. Like you've got the face, and then there's Death, and he's like sticking his face out. Here's Temperance. You know, so you've got. I think it's a bowl of water, because it looks like a bowl, and then in the bowl you've got a star, the moon, and then 2 crescent moons. Ooh. Again, another one I'm gonna have to read because the Devil's interesting. Like, what it makes me think of, like, just from looking at it, is you've got all these flowers over top, so part of it makes me think of almost like that figure that's hidden below that you're not suspecting kind of thing, which makes me think of, you know, like some of the stuff for the devil. But I feel like maybe there's kind of like a temptation with the flowers, like maybe the flowers were tempting
but it's all consuming, because it's like, even if you look in the background, like, the flowers are there. That's what I'm getting, but we'll see. I'll see when I read it. Ooh. This is interesting. Here's the Tower card. It kind of makes me think almost like, because these kind of, the way that they're made, like, it kind of makes me think of like the image was broken. So like, instead of like the tower being destroyed, it's like almost like the picture itself. And he's holding something, but I can't make it out. All I can see is it's yellow. And all I can think of is, it's a banana, Des. It's not going to be a banana. Why are you thinking that? I don't know, because it's yellow and it's, you know, like U-ish shaped, like C-ish shaped. I don't know why I said U. It's more C, more of a C than U. Ooh, got the star. Oh, the moon's got an animal too. I think they all have animals. Do they all have? I don't think all of them have animals, but I do notice that there's been some with animals in the background. Because the hermit had one. Fool did not have one, which it usually does. I don't know. The magician had a skull in the background, yeah. Wasn't there another one? I thought there was at least another one that had an animal. Oops! I dropped one. Oh no! Ugh. Was it just this? I could have swore there was another animal one. I guess not. I'm just thinking that there's more animals than what there actually is. But the moon. She got a wolf howling towards her. Very pretty. Oh, and if you actually look, the wolf, it's not just a mountain, it's actually a face. That's interesting. Next you've got the sun. Feels very sunnish, it's very bright. Ooh. Judgment. Kind of makes me think of ghost stories. Or ghost hunting or something. Just because graveyard with them out. Instead of the whole more of like a calling and rising. It looks a little bit more creepy almost. I like it. And then the world. That's the majors. Okay, and first suit up. What's the last suit? Okay, that's the last suit. First up is the aces. Here's the Ace of Wands. And I think, let me look at the pentacles. Or maybe not. I was trying to think, because then I saw what look almost like a staff in the next card, but no, so there's no actual pictures of pentacles, wands, cups or anything, or swords. It's just, that's just the name of the suit, the name of the card and stuff. So, the Two of Wands. Three of Wands. Ooh, I like that, the Four of Wands, because there's a face there. It's kind of... Ooh, the Five of Wands. And it's not just water, there's a face in here too, and then another one of the drawings like that. Six of Wands. Which that one actually seems to kind of be wearing an outfit where all the other ones aren't. But it almost looks like an outfit because of how this is. It looks like a dress. Ooh, the Seven. You see more of a bird, and the bird's like giving it wings almost. The Eight. You see like the top of his head. The Nine I did see in one of the pictures. 10 of Wands. Now the corks for the wands. Cork cards for the wands. Page of Wands. That one's really pretty. Ooh, the Knight. That's pretty intense. It's nice. Queen of Wands.
King of Wands. Which, those ones do very much make me think of, at least how I read the King and the Queen of Wands, so. Ooh, I like the Ace of Swords. Which, the Swords is my favorite suit. Usually, even per deck, usually I go for the Swords. I like swords. Also, I'm an air sign, so Libra here. At the Ace of Swords. That's really pretty. I like it. The two, I'm noticed. Oh, so it's not in that one, but I do see it in another one. I just noted some birds in the next couple of cards. But there just happens to be some birds in it. I was like, air, birds. No, it's just Two of Swords. Ooh, I like that one. And then because there's two figures in the background. Ooh. I like this Three of Swords. The Three of Swords is one of my favorite cards. And I don't even mind it when it does do the whole heart thing or anything. And the filming's about to run out, so let me talk about. Yeah, that's what it makes me think of. So we've got the Ace of Cups. Oh, that's cute. The Two of Cups is usually also sometimes seen as kind of lovey. This one isn't. It's just one of the Guardians and a butterfly, and then you've got this whole thing, which is the whole balance, but kind of makes me think of a balance of nature almost. All the Three of Cups. This one makes me think of a movie I loved and still one of my favorite movies. I don't talk about it often, but it makes me think of Spirited Away because the see-throughness and just how some of the spirits looked and stuff. It makes me think of Spirited Away. Four of Cups. Five of Cups. Six of Cups. Ooh, Seven of Cups. That's interesting. It's got like, it's a church. Interesting. Ooh, the Eight of Cups. I like that. Des, why do you like all the cards where they're suffering? I don't know. Don't ask me. Here's another one with a church. Des doesn't like churches, but Des can deal. Ooh, the Ten of Cups. Pretty. Page of Cups. Very pretty. Ooh, the Knight of Cups is really interesting. Because obviously, like, when I think of the Page of Cups, I think more of a daydreamer. But the Knight of Cups still is kind of a dreamy kind of, person. And there's a face in the mountain. There's literally a baby in the clouds. And when he soars, he's leaving a trail. It makes me think of, looking up on the clouds and seeing shapes. Maybe like that time that Nana was like, I went inside to grab my camera, but I went out. The face was gone. But I swear, I saw Elvis's face in the clouds. True story. Yeah, that's what makes me... Just stop thinking of funny stories. I can't help it. Queen of Cups. She's very pretty. Oh, this is an interesting King of Cups. He's literally got a kid with him. A little baby guardian. Pentacles. We got the Ace of Pentacles. The see-through belly thing's kind of disturbing. So, like, I'm trying to just look at the top part. I don't like anything that deals with pregnancy. It kind of, So, 2 of Pentacles. 3 of Pentacles. That one's kind of interesting. Because there's a lot of people, and I can see teamwork in the background, but the face doesn't really feel kind of happy about it. It feels kind of lonely. 4 of Pentacles. 5 of Pentacles. 6 of Pentacles. 7 of Pentacles. 8 of Pentacles. I like that one. Very pretty. 9 of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles. Which is very interesting. Page of Pentacles. Ooh. I like the colors on this one. The Knight of Pentacles. Of course, the Queen of Pentacles looks kind of older and is holding a kid, so it kind of looks like grandmother and child, kind of. So kind of like how that motherly kind of thing. Like with the Empress, I don't really think of motherly, like, at all. I think more of nature, more of like, freaking Empress, like, she's badass kind of thing. Like literally the counterpart of the Emperor. He's a badass, she's a badass. And that's why they're in charge, like. But when I think of, like, a more motherly one, I think of the Queen of Pentacles. I don't think of the Empress, I think of the Queen of Pentacles. And then we have the King of Pentacles. He looks really cool. And those are all the cards. I'm going to draw a card and read it, and I might be tempted after that to actually try one of the spreads. I just have to move my decks that are on my reading space over. We'll see. Yeah, I gotta try to shuffle this, so let's see. I do like, riffle, is it right? Is it riffle? Is it rifle? Riffle? I think the word's riffle. Riffle shuffling it. Although, I don't know how people do it. Like when you go, but then it goes, floop, or whatever that sound would be, like, floop, floop. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Like, I can do the floop, but I can't do the floop, like, back up. I can't do that. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but I always describe it with sound effects. I don't know what it's called. So basically, I can go one way, but I can't go backwards. I don't know how people... Oh, I can... It's very thick, and it's hard to do that. It might loosen up with time, though. We'll see. I can do it. But, and it goes through, it's kind of hard though. Overhand's definitely easier. Although, I feel like it's not going to get mixed up as much. And because this was all in order, I'm going to turn the camera off real quick so you don't have to see me shuffling. I'm going to table shuffle it. get it nice and shuffled with table shuffling it, which I don't think I really ever see tarot people doing that. Yeah, what I mean is, basically, you lay out, like, 6 cards on the table, and then you just kind of go through and lay them all on top. I like to mix them up, though, because it gets them even more shuffled. I know it's more common in, trading card games, so That's what I got it from. I got it from when I played Magic the Gathering. Anyway, I'm going to shuffle this real quick, and then I'll get back and I'll draw a card, and then maybe do a spread from the book. There's only 2, but they're bigger ones, so, like, maybe. I'll read through them and see what they are, so. And all the cards are shuffled. I know some other things I thought I'd point out real quick. I just realized, did my camera get lower? I think it did. I don't know. Anyway, well, first off, I did show the bags, but they are reversible. When it comes to the gloss, which isn't really too all shiny, it is the kind where I'm gonna shake it, and it doesn't really do anything, which is nice. But it does make a weird sound, which was kind of weird while I was table shuffling. Other thing I wanted to point out, because I feel like this might be important, just because, I don't know. The way the cards are, like, I feel like the cardstock quality, I don't know how it'll end up being. Just because, I don't know, like, the feel of it. But yeah, I want to edge it. Anyway, I'm going off topic. One of the things I did notice, is the cards aren't perfectly cut. So, I don't know if you'd be able to see it on camera. Like, yeah, you can kind of see it. Like, it's not perfectly cut. Like, some of them stick more out on, like, all sides. But, like, I like that. If you see, which I showed off my decks in one video, you see my trim decks and they are not straight. Because I just took scissors to them. I like the whole not, like, I do like the perfect feel. But then I also like the not perfect feel, too, because, I don't know, it gives it an interesting texture. And with the ones that I did myself, it feels like I cut them myself, you know? Like, it's my deck, you know? I don't know. And then with, like, the Sherlock Holmes one, I don't know why, it gives it, like, an older feel for some reason. Yeah, so it's not, like, perfect. Also, like I said, it's hard to, riffle shuffle. My mom made sure that, yes, it's riffle. I went out there to show her the cards. Des, why are you shuffling again? I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. So I thought I'd point that out real quick. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pull a card and I'm gonna read what the little book says about it for like a little read example. Okay, so the Ace of Wands, which is this one. If I can find it. Oh, I just passed the wands. Okay, here it is. And I'll hold the card up while I read. This guardian supports and applauds when the creative vice comes together to work in the very best manner and provide a solid base for the future. Sometimes you are the foundation. Sometimes you are the one receiving the assistance. And that's like the little forward thing in green. And then, because it's upright, I don't read reversed. So upright it says, all things take work and collaboration from an unified team. When this card appears, it means that your team is ready and willing to help you build your future with a solid foundation. Remember to communicate your ideas or changes that you would like to see happen. So yeah, that works for me. That works. I want to read another one though. I want to read another one. Let's read another one. Let's see. What's the next card? Oh, we got a major. Okay, so next one's the Magician. So we'll see how the majors read now. Which it'll probably be the same, you know, but I just want to read another one. So, Magician says, ready to assist in delivering messages between the world and the next. This magician explores and lives within the world of the unseen. She offers peace and insight through her abilities. When this card appears in a reading, it can signify that you are able to harness this energy. You may seem to just know the bigger picture, and the words you say may not seem to make sense to you, but do make sense to the person hearing them. Through your actions, you are able to offer insight to a situation and bring peace. And just so we get a taste of how the reverse reads, the reverse of this card is, the reverse meaning of this card can indicate that though you have a sense as to what needs to be said, you may not be confident in your right to say such things. Me. So, that's interesting.
it reads different than most magician cards. Because that's kind of more like the High Priestess for me. So now I'm just going to read I'm not going to find the High Priestess out. But I'm going to read the High Priestess real quick. Because that's usually more of how I read the High Priestess. The High Priestess says, under the light of a full moon, the High Priestess realizes she carries all the answers she needs. By centering herself and looking inward, she sees and finds all that she needs to know. She listens to her higher self, begetting others whose insights may not have her best interests at heart. Okay, so yeah, that's like an interlink system. So like it does still kind of make sense with the Magician High Priestess when you put them together. Because the Magician's like using the board, where the High Priestess, it's like inner wisdom, so. It's just when I think of like messages and stuff, I don't really think of the Magician. So I had to read that. Yeah, that's how the book reads. And, you know, I'm going to look at the spreads real quick. Because the first spread, I'll at least say what they are. I don't know if I'll do them yet. The first spread's called Guardian's Tale. It's a 10-card spread. With the questions, what is at the heart of the situation? What is the main concern? How do your thoughts influence the situation? How do you gain strength from the situation? So this one's kind of like your basic kind of situation spread. The next one's the Guiding Coast to Coast. So this spread allows the reader to focus upon gratitude, channeling energy to be successful now and what needs to be laid to rest. Okay, so that one I could actually do if I wanted to. Should I? You know, I'll go ahead. If anyone didn't want to see this, you can go ahead and click off. I am going to go ahead and give an example of one of the spreads in here because why not? So I will put my camera down and do that then.
My camera decided to move around a bunch when I was laying the cards out, so yeah, I've already laid them out. I'll say what position they are when I'm reading the question and, you know, obviously flipping the cards over. So the first one, what do you need to appreciate and show gratitude to help ground you? And mine is the Knight of Pentacles. Of course, it has to be a court card. Let's see. Let me actually look at it real quick. I'm getting a feeling I should read the book for this one. Like, I'm getting a feeling, but I like, I don't know how to describe it. So I'm actually gonna read the book for not the actual full thing. I'm gonna read like what the green text is for it. I know this one was one of the ones I did want to look up anyway. Oh, okay. Yeah, this actually does make sense. Okay, so like I said, it's what I need to appreciate and help show gratitude to help ground you. And basically, I need to think about all the times that it was hard and basically kind of see that I have gotten through it. And by showing the gratitude that I have been able to overcome these obstacles, I'm able to better ground myself. That makes perfect sense. I was getting like this feeling from it, you know, and I didn't know how to describe it. And reading the card's description does actually make me think of myself. So, yeah. Okay, so I gotta flip back. Oops. Okay, so the second card is... Ooh, camera's moving. Bad camera. Oops. The second card, Six of Swords, and it is how can you utilize this current energy to be successful. I need to be successful, like how I can utilize it is to think of the hard times, but to remember that I've gotten away from it. And so I can be successful by to not think about all of the hard times, not think about the negative times, but to think of how I've been able to get away from it. The third card, which is this one, it's the Six of Cups. This one is, how do you need to remember from the past to help you in the future? I need to think more about the stuff that I was like more nostalgic about, like my beginnings. So I need to, which kind of makes me think, like, all this, I used to come up with so many stories when I was a kid, and you know, I want to deal with the more creative stuff. So thinking about all the times I was creative stuff as a kid kind of helped me, and just all that influence of stuff as a kid. Like even playing so many video games as a kid. So just think about the stuff basically I'm nostalgic about. And thinking about that and kind of just soaking it all in will help me with my future. Considering, I mean, like, literally, I want to get a future in a video game, so literally, that'll help. So the fourth card is this one up here. Oops. It's the Eight of Swords. Ooh. And it's, what do you need to... Oops. I read that one as the fourth. This one is, what do you need to lay to rest with the setting sun? Oh. Wow, that's like the complete opposite. I need to lay to rest more of the stuff from the childhood. That does actually make sense still. Dealing with how these two cards have been, there's certain, like, stuff that I've kind of, like, I think the best example that I can always think of the top of my head is, like, my handwriting, for instance. I'll never think my handwriting's, like, really good, just because I've always been told that it was really sloppy. So, like, that's just kind of a thing where, like, you're growing up and you're told one way, and sometimes that's not always true, and it can really mess with your confidence. Especially when your confidence is built up, and then it gets crushed down. So I need to kind of just forget about that stuff. At least that's what I'm getting at. Okay, so this one's actually what I need to remember from the past to help you in the future. So, again, with kind of like how I said, I need to forget about this stuff. Basically, that stuff was very entrapping, you know. You think as a kid that all of it is okay, and it's great, and you're going to be so good and successful, and you can't do wrong. But then, like, as you start getting older and you make a mistake, and it just hurts so much. And, like, once you're older, it can really affect you, you know? So, that's something I need to, you know, I need to lay it to rest, but I also have to remember it in a way of I've gotten past it, and I'm not as negative with what I was, and then I am more positive. And that all of that entrapment stuff, specifically more stuff like, for me, it's more so the stuff of the whole, relationship kind of stuff, and romance and stuff, and how I've let it go, and I'm essentially not trapped by it anymore. And so I have to remember, like, I have to forget my past, but I don't know if I'm making sense. It's making sense to me, at least, and it's, you know, I'm just rambling now, but yeah, I have to, I'm just gonna shut up and go to the next card. Anyway, the fifth card is this one. And it says, what do you need to be aware of as the future approaches with the rising sun? And I feel like I need to be aware, well, literally, like, I can't tell that, I think that's a sunset, maybe it's a sunset. I can't tell the difference, except for I think sunsets usually have more pinks in them, so. So yeah, what do you need to be aware of as the future approaches with the rising sun? And I feel like I have to be aware of the stuff that's setting in the past, but I also have to look towards the future as well, and be aware that the stuff in the past is still kind of there, but I'm able to move forward and essentially go more towards my dreams. And I have to be aware that I can do it in order to help motivate me, essentially. So then the last card is, what do you need to bring work upon? What do you need to bring work upon to be successful? And it's strength. And I see it as being more of the strength. I need to have, courage. I, not feel as fear as much. And self-confidence a lot too. And I need to bring that to my work to make sure that I'm successful, which I feel like most artists in any format, like, could be painting, it could be anything, they're like the artists are the biggest critics towards themselves. And I feel like that's true for most artists in like any format. So, and because I want to do, video games as kind of art in its way, I need to not be hard on myself when it comes to making stories for it and making characters and just anything else I have to do with that. I need to not be so hard on myself. Gosh darn it, all of my spreads I've been doing lately, it's literally decks just keep telling me, Des, don't be so hard on yourself. Gosh darn it, they get me. Yes, this was the spread from it. And this is Guardian Tarot, and my mom actually couldn't pronounce her last name either, so I'm just gonna put the name of the creator will be down below. And yeah, I really like this deck. I gotta think of, I want to edge it. I feel like it would look really good in light blue, but I'd have to get light blue on mine. Yeah, I feel like it'd look really good with light blue, but yeah. So this is Guardian Tarot, and so yeah, that's about, I'm about done with it. So I'm Des from Aro-Tarot, and I'm logging off.